So we're slightly ahead of set schedule, which is great. So what I'll do is I'll just introduce the workshop, make sure you're in the place that you intend to be, and then we'll get going. It's quite a busy workshop, so it'll involve some cameo presentations first of all, and then the latter part of the workshop, you'll be heading to breakout rooms, which will involve you stepping away from the room, clicking on another link and entering another room. Much like conferences in a hotel, you may find yourself in the wrong room. If you do, as long as you have a good time, that's the most. But I'll explain that as we go. So this is workshop number 5. So from the information, this workshop is about really lessons we've learned in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's about exploring best practice and also highlighting some innovation. You can't go through such a pandemic like we have, and yes, it's been challenging us all, but there's also been incredible positives through it as well, and we've seen some really responsive practices that has been already highlighted this morning. So we have 5 cameos from a range of youth work organisations from across Wales, both in the statutory and the voluntary sector, and it's today. What I'll do in a moment is I'll introduce the presenters. Cameo. There will not be any sort of space for conversation, for questions following each cameo, but please put anything you want in the chat. Then following those cameos, we can have a bit of a brief discussion, any kind of burning questions that anybody might have, or any linking up that people might want to do. And then we'll be moving into breakout rooms. We do have a Merrimeter polling option if we want to use it. So Rich, is it all right if I hand over to you just for 2 minutes just to explain that and how that works?
Yeah, no worries, will do, Dave. So I've just popped a link into the chat. People will be able to go to that there, and there's a couple of questions for us to answer. It's just about kind of taking a straw poll really from your experiences over the last 18 months, seeing what you've missed and what the challenges have been, but also making sure that kind of we can come together in the breakout rooms later and think about what we've learned during this time and what we want to keep and move forward on. So if you can click on that link that's in the chat, people will be able to go to that Menti, and then we can collect those later, and we'll share those just after everyone's done their presentations. I think it'll be best, Dave.
Stuff. Thank you, Rich. And during the breakout rooms as well, I will be asking for volunteers because we made a decision to maximize the discussion time. When we get into the rooms, we won't be coming back into this main room to feedback the feedback. We would love an individual to volunteer to capture that. I will then kind of coordinate that information and then get that back out to everybody so we can see what's been discussed throughout the workshop. So that's the plan for this session. Like I say, it's great to have you with us. In terms of running order for the 5 cameos, we haven't kind of nailed that down. So would anybody like to volunteer to go first? This is when silence. Go on then, Rachel. Fantastic. So Rachel, I'll hand over to you if you'd like to introduce yourself and your cameo, and then over to you.
Well, thank you very much. So I'm Rachel Simmonds, and I work for Conwy Youth Service, local authority youth service in North Wales. So today we're going to just share with you a little bit about what our service has done during the pandemic and some of the unique or innovative, creative ways that our staff have maintained youth work through such a challenging time. Because I'm also not keen on presenting, I've been fortunate to rope in the team to do a nice video and really gain information about the youth staff on the ground and what their thoughts are of how we have achieved this over the period. So I'll just hopefully get this back up. Okie dokie. Hopefully everybody can see that now. All right. Here you go.
Sorry, Rachel, just a quick, it's a tiny technical note, but to maximize your viewing options, if you click the sort of interrupted broken square in the corner of the right-hand corner of the presenting screen, that'll give you a full screen, so you'll get the full experience. I was speaking to people watching.
All right. I was going to say that really well technically.
Why are you talking?
Right, no problems. Hopefully you've managed to do that, and I'll hopefully get the sound across. Here we go.
Yn dilyn cyfllawn y Llywodraeth, yn anffodus, nath ni'n gorfod cael lawr ein clybio ieuenctid, ond nath hyn ddim stopio gwaith ieuenctid yma'n Sir Conwy. Aeth ymati fel tîm i drafod y ffyrdd gorau o gadw mewn cysylltiad efo pobl ifanc a'i teuluoedd a y ffyrdd gorau o cefnogi nhw dros y cyfnod clo. Y ffordd orau aethon ni ati i gadw mewn cysylltiad efo pobl ifanc a y tîm yn teimlo am o gwneud sgwrsio am hyn oedd ymwybydau Steffan Drws. Felly, hefo hyn, oedd ni'n mynd allan mewn carau a mynd i Steffan Drws o bobl ifanc a cael sgwrs efo'r person ifanc a'i teuluoedd. A wnaeth hyn helpu ni i ddod i ddallt be oedd anghenion pobl ifanc yn well mewn ffordd.
So, o hynny i gyd, beth ydych chi'n dweud i'r prif method ni'n dysgu fo gwasanaeth?
Dwi'n meddwl bod gwasanaeth, dwi'n meddwl bod yn adran o fewn Wasanaeth Ieuenctid Caerdydd wedi cael bydd o wneud yr ymwybydau Steffan Drws yma lle. Mae wedi golygu bod ni'n cydweithio well efo canolfannau teulu, bod ni'n cydweithio efo dyrannau eraill, a hefyd bod ni'n cydweithio efo ysgolion hefyd yn well er mwyn cynnig y cymod sydd ei angen ar gyfer pobl ifanc. A dwi'n meddwl hefyd, dyn ni'n dysgu bod o'n ofnadwy o bwysig bod pobl ifanc yn cael y cyfle i gysylltu ac athrebu efo staff proffesiynol. Mae hynny'n rhywbeth bwysig sydd wedi allan ohono bod ddim yn rhywun wedi gael bod ddim yn ffrind, ond bod actually staff wedi cael ei hyfforddi yn o'n proffesiynol i ni wedi gweld nhw. Ac yn ola, dwi'n meddwl bod ni'n adnabod anghenion teuluoedd yn well er mwyn yn lle bod yn ystod yn berson ifanc dod fewn i'r community. Da ni wedi'n cael y stori i gyd mewn ffordd yn llun i gyflawn hefyd. So dwi'n meddwl bod ni wedi dysgu llawer ohono, dwi'n gobeithio fy hynny, bod ni'n dal yn ddysgu fod gael ei ymlaen efo agweddau gwahanol o beth sydd wedi bod yn ymlaen yn ystod yr pandemig.
Ie, ges i sgwrs efo'r tîm cymunedol dwi'n dod i fan heddiw, a i gael farn nhw o be o'n meddwl o fy'r buddion, ac yn nhw'n dweud bod o'n gyfle da i nhw'n allu hysbysebu be o gen nhw ar fynd, enghraifft be o gen ni ar social media, neu i blogio sydd ar-lein, oedd nhw hefyd yn teimlo bod o'n ffordd dda i fel o'n ffrindiau yn gweld be o'n digwydd, a wedyn gweld be oedd yr angen i'r person ifanc yna a'r teulu. Nath un gweithio'r ieuenctid cymunedol oedd esiampl da o person ifanc angen fwy o gefnogaeth, a felly aeth i ati wedyn i gysylltu'r ysgol, a aeth yr person ifanc yna wedyn am i'r ysgol dwywaith yr wythnos. A wnaeth hwnna gyd ddod o'r gwaith o mynd at y Steffan Drws yn cael trafod hynna efo y person ifanc a'r rhiant ar y pryd. Dwi hefyd cael sgwrs efo yr prosiect cynnydd sydd yn cyfnogi pobl ifanc sydd ddim mewn addysg neu hyfforddiant neu gwaith. A oedd nhw'n gweld byd o'r ddull yma, ac oedd nhw'n teimlo bod o'n ffordd dda ac oedd pobl ifanc yn engaged. A hefyd bod nhw'n cael o'n ffrindiau'n sôn cymorth gan gweithwyr proffesiynol, achos oedd hi'n adeg mor ansicr i bobl ifanc. A roedd cael y sgwrs yna efo'r prosiect cynnydd yn help mawr i nhw i allu trafod i pryderon am eu dyfodol yn sgil gwaith neu yn coleg a falle. Felly, ia, oedd pawb i fod yn byd o fan yr ddull yma.
Sef allan y byd yn cael bwysig i'r cyswllt Gwneud i iechyd meddwl a emosiynol pobl ifanc, fel un person ifanc yn cyfieithu efo mudiadau neu gyflwyr iechyd meddwl o sydd misionol oedd yma. Nath ni ddechrau drwy siarad o'r ffôn, ond nath o ddechrau gwella, a ni weld gwella yn dyna fo, ond ni'n gallu mynd yna fel wsos. A ni oedd yr unig bod cyswllt cyswllt o'n gael, ond nath i'n ymlaen at o wsos o'n i'n trefnu at Steffan Drws. So o hynna i gyd, beth yn ni'n gael ymlaen o beth yn dechrau?
Bod yn person yn ymateb gwahanol i'r bandemig a bod yn ymateb gwahanol wedyn ar ôl allan ac i annog Gwneud allan i'r codi ieuenctid a gymdeithasu. Ond mae eisiau gwneud mewn ffyrdd gwahanol i bawb achos dydy pawb yn gallu dod syth mewn fewnol. Dwi'n meddwl bod yn bwysig bod yn cynnu'r ymweliadau Steffan Drws yma fewn hefo outreach a hefyd efo codi ieuenctid ac yn cynnig gwasanaeth sydd yn targedu bob un o hynny felly. Dwi hefyd yn meddwl bod yn bwysig bod wedi mae'r fframwaith yn gysylltu a datblygu ieuenctid esiampl da hyn, achos da ni wedi bod yn cefnogi i'n cydweithio efo nhw yn creu pamffled i'r bobl ifanc sydd yn ddigartre neu mewn herydd i fod yn gartre. Mae hwnnw wedi cael ei wneud ar y cyd efo y prosiect ddamwen o'r Maman Wasanaeth Ieuenctid Caerdydd a hefyd efo trwysiadau tai Conwy ag cymdeithasau plant yn y gogledd, a bod nhw'n cael eto o wybodaeth a gefnogaeth proffesiynol pwysig yna sydd yn hanfodol yn ôl yma.
Dwi'n sgwrs iawn o effaith bandemig yn wedi bod ar blwyddyn yn lot amser i ddod. A dwi'n mynd i weld os ydych chi'n drws yn bod ar y mwynhau rhagor fi, ac efallai bod yn gweithio'n barod i fod i sesiwn yma yw'r eto, so mae'n bod i datblygu hyder yn fod datblygu'r perthynas sy'n gweithio yn
Yeah, so from our service perspective, for me especially, I'm extremely proud of our team. It's been a tough 18 months and they've all continued to really push the boundaries to make sure that youth work is still accessible for young people in the community. During the time of the doorstep visits, they were still maintaining the community phone lines as well, arranging prescriptions and food parcels for the most vulnerable. And we're not a large team, but it felt like they were a large team because they were doing so much work. And as you can see in the end of the video, I think that might have been helped by the speed that they walk. They're very productive at getting from door to door. So that's it from me. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much. I think throughout we're going to see really innovative responses to reaching out to young people. And I love what you guys said right at the start, but it was about just listening and hearing their needs and connecting relationally, that's one of the unique selling points of youth work, really. You know, the young people drive what we do, and that's really great. Thank you very much for opening us. Fantastic. Right, do we have a volunteer for our next cameo? Dayle, over to you. People on the screen, so if anybody else put their hand up then, I'm afraid I wouldn't have seen it. So there we go. Dayle, over to you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I would say nice to see you all, but I genuinely can't see anyone. Like Dave just like see 4 people. So hopefully we can connect over the chat and in the networking sessions later. I work for Cardiff Youth Service and I'm a senior youth officer responsible for the digital youth work team. And like all kind of youth services, we've tried to work innovatively with young people throughout this period. But I'm just going to share one project with you today, which is our Young Creators project. So firstly, it was set up as a website development group, which co-produced our service website so people could know about our services, what was on offer, what times were we open. But then young people told us actually they wanted to play a role in actually producing the content on our social media channels, on our websites, which later produced into a young creators group. So they were coming together weekly online, and they were firstly developing some digital skills to be able to produce content in a space they spend a lot of time online, and they've all connected with each other, and the group is still running strongly. You'll be glad to know I'm not going to talk at you for 5 minutes. I'm also going to show a video. So I'm just going to show you some of the amazing things they've done over the past 18 months. So hope you all enjoy. So yeah, that's our young creators group and what they've been up to over the past 18 months. So as you can tell, they've met with some quite influential people in quite an informal kind of setting. They've been able to share their views on their lives and concerns they're having as young people. They've also been able to become reporters on the Summer of Smiles Festival happening in Cardiff. And what young people have told us, they want to continue to go to events like that in Cardiff and be at the forefront of things going on in the city. So that's the plan we're working on at the moment. So as well, what's next? We're looking to develop more creative projects to allow young people to develop multimedia skills and digital skills. So we've gone out to our youth centres and we'll continue doing that throughout the course of the next year and further than that as well. We're also trying to increase membership of the group, but the group is actually meeting in person now, so you've still got the COVID restrictions. Hopefully get bigger groups in building soon. We're also going to be working with RCT YEPS to develop their young editors group as well, which is quite similar to our young creators. So happy to answer any questions anyone's got about the group. Yeah, hope you enjoyed.
That's great, thank you, Dale. A great video, lovely to see as well. Especially love the acting up as teachers. That's brilliant, wasn't it?
Class.
Do you know what? One of the risk factors for me working from home is my bedroom's literally there, and I love a nap. So that's, you know, if I'm not answering the phone, it's not because I'm busy, it's because I'm having a nap. Fab, brilliant. Okay, over to our next presenter. Do we have a volunteer for our next cameo?
I think they're going to need to activate their video settings, Dave. I think that's why we're not seeing them.
There you go. Oh, Grant.
There we go. There he is.
There he was, and there he's gone. Grant, fantastic. Lovely to have you with us, Grant. Are you happy to happy to go next?
Hi, you can hear me all right, David? Yeah.
We can indeed.
Brilliant. That's great. All this new technology. Brilliant. Yes, so my name is Grant Poyner. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Boys and Girls Clubs of Wales. We're a national voluntary youth work organisation, and we rely a lot on some amazing volunteers within our clubs. In fact, I was delighted to go out to a club in Ystrad Mynach last night and meet one of our volunteers who's only just come out of hospital from COVID, but he is now back in the club. You know, he is so committed to it. So yeah, we wanted to talk about what we had done during the pandemic, and a few of the things that we kind of made changes because of this kind of the world we were living in. But I want people to kind of go back in their minds first to think what it was like in March 2020. It was a little bit of a period where we didn't know what was happening. You know, we were kind of living in this area of a bit of fear. We didn't know what the coronavirus was going to bring. And it was a real confusing time for our volunteers, because a lot of the volunteers within our network of clubs are elderly, they're retired, and there was this, you know, they didn't know what they could do. They didn't, you know, obviously they didn't want to kind of catch something that you know, potentially at that time could have been fatal for them. So a lot of what we did and a lot of what the youth service did, and I know some incredible work that went on with, youth workers supporting a lot of the kind of key services there. But a lot of our kind of clubs did close, as all youth clubs did close. But what the positives of the pandemic brought in a kind of bizarre way was it developed the digital literacy of all our elderly volunteers, or all our volunteers in general. So, you know, including ourselves. Now, I've never been on Hopin until today, but, you know, I'd probably, until the pandemic had started, I'd never been on Google Hangouts, or I'd never used Teams for the way that, the way that we ended up using it. So what the pandemic did, it enabled our volunteers to become more digital literate. And they needed to, even to see their grandchildren or their friends or their children. So people were using, you know, different kind of technologies in order to video call. So these positives enabled us as an organization to look at how we can change. Now we've got this improved skill set amongst our volunteers. So one of the things that we did, we developed an e-learning module. So when we work with our volunteers, we normally go out to the clubs and talk to them about what volunteering in a boys and girls club or in a youth work setting is all about, what they need to do, how they understand safeguarding and the various commitments to the role. but we were able to produce e-learning modules via the Teachable platform, which is quite easy to kind of navigate and to even put content on. So all our delivery that we did, in regards to kind of training volunteers now, we still go out to our clubs, but we've got this opportunity now for people to pick up and to use the e-learning module themselves. It was also an opportunity for us to reflect on what we were doing. And one of the other things, as a staff team, we were able to revise our club handbook so that all our clubs were able to understand, and know exactly what they can be doing, what they should be doing. And obviously there was the COVID guidance that we produced for our clubs, which was linked in well with the Welsh Government guidance, but in a form that they could understand and was more appropriate to their needs. So the legacy of these now, they're still continuing. Our e-learning module, every time someone wants to volunteer with one of our clubs, the process now is first to do the e-learning module. And we do want to get people on doing perhaps a level 2 a stepping stone to youth work that Quivis organise, and also the level 2s and level 3s through Adult Learning Wales. But it was this kind of this entry level was so important with our volunteers. And yeah, I don't, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't think we'd have ever done an e-learning module for our volunteers. So I'm going to keep it there, David, because I've been told I've got 4 minutes and I've just gone over that 4 minutes. But yeah, that's the legacy from us from the pandemic.
That's great. Thanks, Grant. That's just really innovative and creative, and that training opportunity is so much more inclusive done that way, isn't it? And that's brilliant to hear. And thank you for sharing that. That's great. Thank you. Okay, the next volunteer, please, or should I say victim, is entirely up to you. Who would like to go next? There we go, Kay.
I'm going to try and work out how to share the screen now.
That's all right, Kay, no problem.
Is it that one? Uh-oh. I'm failing here. I don't quite know how to do this.
So there is a little icon with, looks like a computer screen with a red line through it at the bottom of the screen. That should be the share screen.
I can't find my presentation on here.
No probs. Well, while you're looking for it, I'll just what I'll do, folks, as well, is I'll post some questions in the chat, and these are the questions that we'll look at when we're in the breakout room next. But I'll put those in the chat now so they're there, so you can get sight of them. So, but Kay, we're ready to go when you are.
I can't seem to share the screen at all, to be honest with you. I don't quite know. I'm having quite a bit of trouble with my computer this morning as it is. I'll do that without the photographs then. We obviously, for we're in Cardiff East Scouts, and during the sort of conclusion of the first lockdown, we got to the position where we were able to return to face-to-face scouting. But unfortunately, for a lot of our venues, we didn't have the opportunity to actually go back into our halls. So we've got 12 groups in the district, 4 explorer units and a network unit, and at least 6 of those couldn't even enter their hall to gain any of their equipment. So it became very sort of apparent that we needed to do something at a district level to be able to allow our young people and our volunteers to get back outside and to meet. We knew that families were absolutely desperate to get their young people doing things outside again. So after a couple of hurried phone calls, we quickly came up with the idea of equipping our district van, which I have a beautiful photograph of, which you can all imagine, with everything you could possibly imagine that would be in a scout hall, from a portaloo and tent, stove to be able to make hot drinks, because obviously we were into the autumn at this point, lighting, from pens to sellotape to absolutely everything anyone could need. And we set up a mobile scout hall. Mainly in one of our groups was the primary area, because they had a lot of difficulty accessing, but it also went out and about of evenings to different areas. But our group in Llanedin used it every Saturday for 3 meetings a Saturday for a good term. And I think it really allowed the adults to be able to get those young people out again in a safe space, to be able to do the things they like. They did archery, they did firelight, and all the things that they would normally do, they were able to just do, even though they were looking at a locked door with all their equipment behind it. And I think we've kind of learned that really we can sort of take our scouting to wherever it needs to go. So we've kind of been able to sort of support our programme with lots of our other groups coming back, where we've been able to share skills with the group and share equipment in a much easier way by having the van fully stocked and ready to go at a moment's notice. So that's kind of been our lesson. We supplemented through the lockdown with a lot of Zoom sessions, and I think that brought people together as well, because we were sort of scouting in the same place but from our homes across the whole of the district. So I think as we came back together, we were able to sort of use the van to get the practical stuff out there, but use one another's skills to be able to support that. I will see if I can try and get the photograph up. I feel a bit embarrassed that I failed with that, sorry. But it just oh, there you are. I might actually have got it. Is that shared now? So yeah. I can't see it. Can you see that? Because I can't see anything. It's black here.
Yeah, no, it came and it went.
Ah, disappeared.
There it is.
Back again.
Yeah, there you are. Fantastic. Yeah, so that's our van really, and all of the young people sort of enjoying the van. I just moved those through a bit. Sorry. Get back to the van. So that's the van that's full of all of the kit. And all of the young people that were enjoying that, and these are some of the things that we were able to do. We were able to do the archery, firelighting, bits and pieces out and about, and they just basically, our volunteers rose to every challenge, and they cracked on and they delivered what we wanted them to. So yeah, we're very proud of what we were able to achieve.
That's brilliant, thank you, Kay. I just think the word sort of mobile provision, multiple layers there, doesn't it? It's not just the physical mobility of what you do, but the mobility of your staff to respond in a really creative way. That's wonderful.
And I think the camp toilet has been put away now again, which is a blessing for all of us. So we're glad to see the back of that one. Trying to hold that down in a car park in a gale in November was a memorable experience. But there we go. Thank you.
Have you got any films of that, or is that something that didn't cross your mind?
No. To be fair, we haven't. I think we left that. There's a small child hanging onto the tent as it nearly disappeared. The best bit of this was that the vicar for the football said to this young lady, "Oh, I bet it's fun having a camp toilet." And he went, "No, it's not. They just won't let us inside to use the loo." So that was quite interesting. She kind of put the cat and the pigeons there, but they did get back into the hall quickly after that comment. So that was good. Okay.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Kay. That's wonderful. Okay, so
Mute, Dave.
I'm on mute. Do you know what? Sorry. Margaret and Lewis, at least I hope you're with be presenting through Welsh, the Welsh language. So as you're all well versed in now, you need to open up a tab separately, open up the translation in order to be able to hear. So Margaret and Lewis, are you here? Hello.
Hello there. How are we?
Hello, fantastic. Brilliant. Here. I'll hand over to you guys, and welcome. It's lovely to have you with us.
Brilliant. Just to start off with, how do I share my screen? I've never used this website before, so I'm not too sure what's going on.
So at the bottom of your you can see you should have a computer screen with a red line through it.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't pop up when you're in full screen.
No, you're right, it doesn't.
Great, yeah, that's amazing then. So Margaret's going to start off, but we're here with Urdd Gobaith Cymru.
Helo bawb. Dyn ni am siarad chydig bach am be dyn ni adran ieuenctid a chymuned yn neud, felly dyn ni ddim sôn am y pethau chwaraeon a ddim felly. Dwi'n meddwl bod ni wedi ymateb yn reit da i y cyfyngiadau a bod ni wedi cynllunio a mynd ati yn syth i wneud sesiynau clybiau ar-lein. Na i fynd drwy'r rhai nathon ni wneud yn ystod yr gaeau cyntaf, nathon ni wneud clwb Beth, felly clwb lle ddylais fi yn rhedeg bob pythefnos, lle ydyn ni yn cael rhyw 6 o blant dod, ac ydyn ni'n gofyn iddyn nhw pa gyrraedd maen nhw'n licio gwrando arno, ac ydyn nhw wedyn, ydyn ni'n chwarae clip i bawb gael gwrando siafod o, fath o ryw book club mewn ffordd, ac oedd hwnnw'n briliant. Nathon ni wneud awr fwy, rhywun fath, ond bod ni yn gwneud amrywiaeth o sesiynau, so oedden ni'n gwneud pethau celf bach, cwrs neu be bynnag, Nathon ni wneud Cymraeg bob dydd, efo dysgwyr Cymraeg bobl ail iaith, jyst ar y codi hyder nhw, achos oedden ni'n poeni bys hynny, bys yr lockdown, a bod nhw'n cael cyfle i marfer y Cymraeg yn effeithio ar hynny. Un o'r pethau mwyaf gais, dwi'n meddwl, oedd y sgwrs, oedd yn sesiwn ar gyfer aelodau 16 i 25 oed, lle oedden ni'n trafod pynciau pwysig iddyn nhw, trafod pynciau fel iechyd rhyw, iechyd meddwl, sesiwn efo Stonewall, Extinction Rebellion, digartrefedd a pynciau pwysig fel ei, felly ymateb da iawn i heini. Felly oedd heini'n digwydd ar Zoom. Be arall oedd?
Wedyn, dwi'n meddwl un peth diddorol iawn, yn amlwg efo'r Urdd, da ni'n fudiad sy'n gweithio ar draws Cymru gyfan. So mi oedden ni fel mudiad yn gallu cysylltu pobl ifanc ar draws Cymru yn hytrach ac yn lleol. Ond nathon ni hefyd wneud partneriaeth efo mudiad yr enw TG Lurgan. A pwy di TG Lurgan? Ond mudiad Gwyddeleg sydd draw yn Iwerddon. A maen nhw'n wneud bob dim trwy'r Gaelic. Felly nathon ni wneud y cysylltiad hefo'r mudiad yna, a nathon ni wneud 2 gynhyrchiad ar y cyd, sef music video yn Gymraeg ac yn Gaelic, hefo pobl ifanc oedd yn 16 ac i fyny, ac nathon ni wneud 2 fideo, nawn ni ddangos un ma'n bach i chi, ac efo'r pobl ifanc yn serenyn efo, ac mae'r 2 wedi cael dros 100,000 o ffrydiadau ac views ar platforms gwahanol. Felly, oedd rhoid y cyfle i bobl ifanc ddysgu am ddiwylliant gwahanol, ond hefyd ymgysylltu efo'i gilydd ar draws Cymru, os yn Ynys Môn neu Nghaerdydd. Dwi'n meddwl oedd hynna yn wir yn anhygoel. A wedyn, Mae'r nathon ni wneud chydig bach o sesiynau fwy arbenigol wedyn, ar music industry sessions.
Music industry sessions, ac oedd hein...
Sorry, David?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, guys. Just to let you know that we appear to be having problems with the translation service.
Okay.
But please carry on as usual. And for everyone else, what we'll do is I'll speak to the help desk guys to make sure that the recording comes out our way with the translations attached. But please carry on as you were prepared. Interruption.
But we might be talking too fast for the translator.
Please carry on.
Okay, diolch. Sesiynau diwydiant lle oedden ni wedi partneriaethu efo Mae'r a Clwb Ifor Bach i roi workshops ar pethau fel ffilmograffeg, cyfansoddi, cynhyrchu ac elgyrchu a dylunio. Felly roedd hein yn eitha arbenigol, just dysgu sgiliau i bobl hyn yr Urdd, a just dysgu sgiliau. Ond oedd hwn yn gweithio'n dda dros Zoom, gallu rhaid screen share a dangos yn nitty-bitty grits o pa botwm i bwyso wrth editio ac yn y blaen. Felly oedd hwnnw'n gweithio'n dda.
Go on, Marged.
Dos di.
O'n i am dweud, na i ddangos 2 fideo iddyn nhw fel bod nhw'n cael gwell syniad beth. So I'm just going to share 2 videos of different projects that we did, so you'll get like a better idea of what we did. Am ryw reswm methu gwneud.
O'r YouTube, link YouTube neu unrhyw beth?
Yndi, o ti'n gwybod be, dwi'n meddwl bod fi yn gallu gweld o, actually.
Nes i mynd ar y rhannu screen with a YouTube video.
Otherwise,
mae'r computer audio ddim yn gweithio.
Reit, so dyna hynna eto, nes ti oro mynd trwy YouTube?
So, ti'n gwybod pryd ti'n gwasgu share screen fan hyn? Ti'n gallu tick o YouTube video instead of share screen?
Cool. Na, ddim yn gadw fi wneud o gwbl lan. The video settings. Mark, ti'n gallu cael o fyny?
I'll try.
Chos am ryw reswm, di share screen jyst ddim yn clicio fi ar hyn o bryd. Just cael yr un, alla TG Lurgan i fyny.
Share screen. Yn gweithio?
Yndi, Brill.
Canva basically flattens the speed bumps. It helps me communicate.
Dwi wedi bod ar ben fy hun rhy hir, beth am I ti ddangos car un bir, mor bir.
Mae'r awydd yma'n gryf, does dim rhaid ti'n neud rhyw lawedd iawn, ond y gyffwrdd ti'n deffro'n llaw, mae'n wir.
Rhan o ti'n bod sy'n sydd I ffwrdd boffi, ond yn erbyn yma hir, ni edrych rhan o rhywbeth. Dynnu neud o den y sodd, ni yn y rhan yw'n gymryd yw'n ei fawr. Dwi'n deud mae'n nos modd I fi, ond dwi'n ddysgu beth am yn o ti.
So oedd hwnna just yn enghraifft, that was just one example of the projects we did. Felly oedd hwnna ar y cyd hefo wedi Ieuenctid yn Iwerddon ac nath o weithio'n anhygoel. Oedd wedi cael ar y YouTube link over 40,000, but on Facebook it got over 150,000 views, which is really, really good. A dwi'n meddwl, ambell I beth oedden ni wedi gallu ddysgu o hwnna oedd mae pobl ifanc wedi methu allan ar gynrychiadau gwahanol mewn celfyddyd. Felly oedden ni'n gallu dod yn o at ei gilydd, ac oedden nhw'n gwneud o I gyd ar wahân. Felly oedd Iestyn, enghraifft, yn ffilmio bob dim o amgylch Caerdydd, ond oedd o'n teimlo fatha oedd o'n rhan o production, oedd wedi cael selfie stick, ac oedd o hefyd wedi cael offer I recordio, felly oedd bob dim yn gweithio mor effeithiol. Felly, da ni'n wedi gadw y syniad yna, da ni'n wedi gwneud prosiect arall yn mis Chwefror, lle mae'r bobl ifanc yn mynd I gael cyfle I fynd I Iwerddon, ac hefyd efo'r sesiynau diwydiant, da ni'n mynd I wneud mwy o'r hynna, oherwydd oedden nhw wedi gwerthu allan o fewn wythnos, felly oedden nhw jyst yn rhywbeth oedd wedi gweithio mor dda I ni.
Dwi'n meddwl be nathon ni ffindio oedd, be nathon ni ddysgu oedd ar gyfer sesiynau ar-lein, mae really angen ffocws, just o ran rhywbeth I'w drafod, achos nathon ni drio efo y sgwrs, just cael sgwrs agored am be bynnag oedd yn poeni bobl ifanc, ond roedden nhw ofn rhoi mic off mwyn siarad am ddim byd mewn ffordd. Felly, oedden ni'n ffindio efo'r clwb cerddoriaeth, os oedd gen ti y cerddoriaeth yn ganolbwynt iddo fo, oedd y sgwrs yn digwydd o gwmpas a wedyn, ac oedden ni'n sylwi wrth I wythnosau mynd yn ei blaen, oedd mwy o'r bobl ifanc yn rhoi camera on a mic on drwy'r amser mwyn siarad, achos oedden nhw'n teimlo bod nhw yn nabod ni, achos hefyd dyn ni wedi cadw'r rhai o'r sesiynau, felly dyn ni wedi cadw'r clwb cerddoriaeth yna I fynd, achos dwi'n meddwl bod hein yn bobl sydd ddim efo grŵp o ffrindiau lla, bod nhw'n licio dod rhywbeth fel unigolyn, achos eich di feddwl mae o'n eitha daunting mynd I clwb Ieuenctid mewn neuadd, cael dy dropio off gan dy fam a bod gen ti ddim ffrind I fynd atyn nhw. Felly efo hwn, olia, maen nhw'n saff a mae pawb ar yr un lefel, does gen ti ddim clics o gwbl ar Zoom, mae pawb ar yr un lefel. Ac oedden ni hefyd yn gweld bod hynna'n help efo'r Gymraeg, achos os da ni'n rhedeg clwb Ieuenctid, mae gen ti fel arfer, os da ni'n gynnal yn Gymraeg, mae gen ti fel arfer yw grŵp bach o ffrindiau sy'n troi Saesneg at ei gilydd. Ond ar sgrin, mae pawb yn gorfod sgynneb yr partner I annog nhw I droi Saesneg, felly mae pawb yn aros yn Gymraeg. Hefyd mae jyst yn gost effeithiol ac yn amser effeithiol, ond yn amlwg mae angen yr gwyneb a wyneb hefyd, felly mae'n braf bod ni yn gallu gwneud y ddau ar y funud.
Gwych, dwi'n meddwl that's it from us. Sorry, aethon ni dros amser, sorry we went over time a little bit.
Problem at all, Diane. Thank you so much for that, guys, and thank you for ploughing through in spite of the technical difficulties. And we translation worked, as Marged was saying, about the benefits of encouraging the use of Welsh language and not feeling the need to mix between. So we came in right at the end there. So I am sure something can be done to get the transcript out to those of us that don't speak Welsh. But thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate your contributions. And I think that song is going to be rattling around people's heads for the rest of the day. So it certainly has landed. Brilliant. Well, thank you, everybody, for your contributions. Really, really appreciate that. And for those of you that haven't contributed yet, I hope you feel quite inspired all the good work that's been going on, the innovative and creative stuff that we've seen happening. So the next thing to do now is we're going to drop into breakout rooms. As if enough can't go wrong already, let's give it a try, let's give it a go. So the way that this should work is similar to a conference in that you'll head back to reception, the sessions down, you will see 8 breakout rooms. What I'm going to do, list of names as far as I can tell, and I'm going to assign you a breakout room. If you could head over there, and there are 3 questions in the chat. You don't have to stick to them rigidly, but some discussion around how you've responded to COVID, some of the innovative stuff that you've been doing, and some of the responses and the practices that you could keep. It would be really good to share those. And like I said, if I could then get a copy of any notes that are taken, I'll then make sure they're circulated to everyone in the workshop. Because following the conclusion of this workshop at 12:45, 12:50, we're then going to head straight into lunch. So you don't need to come back here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run through the list, assign people and names. So if the class could listen attentively, please, because whenever you do this, somebody always puts their hand up and goes, "What room was I in again?" But I've got the notes, so hopefully we should be okay. So once I've read out your name and I've identified which breakout room you're in, please feel free to head off. So before I get into this, just a massive thank you once again to everybody that shared and for putting those cameos together. It's been really interesting and really inspiring, and I really appreciate you doing that. So yes, so breakout room 1. So if I call out your name, you can head out to breakout room 1, and that's Bill, Hevin, Rachel, Tim, and Caroline. So if that's you, you can head to breakout room 1, and it's great to have you with us. Thank you very much. Breakout room 2, we're going to have Rob, Grant, Sioned, Eve, and if I pronounce this wrong, I do apologize. Is it Gergo or Jurgo? That's breakout room 2. Breakout room 3 is Louise, Candice, Chloe, Dale, and Tracy. That's breakout room 4 is Sean and Harrod, Lucy, Andrea, and Kay. Great to have you with us if you want to head out. Breakout room 5, we have Sarah Fox, and Sarah Griffiths, Zariah, Lizzie, and Melanie. If you want to head out to group breakout 5, that would be great. Thank you for being with us. Breakout room 6, then we have Catrin, Sean, Richard, Tia, and Sarah Miller. If you want to head off to breakout room 6, that'd be marvelous. Breakout room 7 will be then Pam, Dean, Ridian, Lily, and Claire. It's breakout room 7 if you want to head off. And then breakout room 8 is Annie, Alana, Andy, Margaret, and Lewis. If you want to head off to breakout room 8, that'd be great.